Remember Twiggy from Vegas Rat Rods, the tattooed woman who could weld better than most men in that garage? One day she was there, the next day she vanished completely. No goodbye, no explanation, just gone. For years, fans have been asking the same question: what really happened to Twiggy? Today I'm going to tell you the shocking truth that will completely change how you see reality TV forever. But first, let me tell you something that will blow your mind. Twiggy never planned to become a TV star. In fact, her story starts in Toronto, Canada, where she was living a completely different life. Picture this a young woman spending her days at comic conventions, modeling alternative fashion, covered in tattoos, and expressing herself through art and cosplay. Nobody would have guessed that this creative artist would become one of the most talked about welders on television. Here's where it gets interesting. Twiggy got tired of just creating art on paper and wanted to build something real with her hands. So she made a bold decision: she enrolled in welding school. Now this wasn't a family business she inherited, or a path her parents pushed her toward. This was pure passion driving her to learn a completely new skill. And let me tell you, she was good at it. Really good. In welding school, something magical happened. When Twiggy put on that welding helmet and struck an arc, everything else disappeared. The noise, the pressure, the outside world, all gone. It was just her, the metal, and the intense focus of creating something strong and beautiful. Her instructors were amazed by how quickly she picked up techniques that took other students months to master. But here's what made Twiggy special: she documented everything on social media. Photos of her work, videos of her progress, and honest posts about learning to weld. The internet didn't know what to think. A heavily tattooed woman in welding gear wasn't what people expected to see. But her work spoke for itself. Those perfect weld beads and clean joints shut down every skeptic who thought she was just there for attention. Now pay attention, because this is where the story gets crazy. Someone very important was watching Twiggy's social media posts. Steve Darnell from Welder Up in Las Vegas saw her work and was impressed. Not by her looks, not by her tattoos, but by her skills. He invited her to join the team for a new show called Vegas Rat Rods. This was the opportunity of a lifetime, working in one of the most famous custom car shops in America. When Twiggy walked into Welder Up for the first time, she entered chaos. This wasn't your typical restoration shop with neat workbenches and organized tools. This was loud, intense, and completely wild. Steve Darnell's team took rusted car bodies and turned them into apocalyptic masterpieces. The work was hard, the deadlines were brutal, and the pressure was enormous. Most people would have been overwhelmed on their first day. But Twiggy thrived in that environment. From day one she proved she belonged there. While other reality shows often used women as decoration or gave them easy tasks, Twiggy was doing the real work. She welded frames, ran grinders, and helped build some of the wildest custom cars ever seen on television. Her hands were just as dirty as everyone else's, and her attention to detail was incredible. The audience loved her immediately. Fan mail poured in from around the world. Young women wrote letters saying, "You inspired me to learn welding, and I never knew women could do this kind of work." For the first time in automotive TV history, female representation felt real and authentic, not forced or fake. But here's something most people don't know about Twiggy's time on the show. While viewers saw her welding and building amazing cars, behind the scenes she was dealing with something much more difficult. The constant attention wasn't always positive. Online comments focused more on her appearance than her skills. People debated her tattoos instead of praising her craftsmanship. Forum discussions talked about how she looked rather than what she accomplished. This is important to understand. Twiggy came to Vegas Rat Rods to build cars and showcase her welding skills. But the internet seemed more interested in everything except her actual work. Despite being one of the most skilled fabricators on the show, much of the attention she received had nothing to do with her abilities. This was frustrating for someone who had worked so hard to master her craft. During her 2 seasons on Vegas Rat Rods, Twiggy created some incredible builds. She worked on post-apocalyptic trucks, custom hot rods, and unique fabrication projects that showcased her versatility. Her welding technique was flawless, her problem-solving skills were sharp, and her creativity brought fresh ideas to the team. Steve Darnell respected her work, the crew valued her contributions, and fans couldn't get enough of watching her in action. Then, without any warning, everything changed. Between seasons 2 and 3, Twiggy's name disappeared from all promotional materials. When the new season started, her welding station was empty. There was no explanation from the network, no statement from the production company, and no farewell message. She was simply gone, as if she had never been part of the show at all. The fan reaction was immediate and intense. Social media exploded with questions and theories. Some people thought she was fired for unknown reasons. Others believed there were personality conflicts with cast members. A few fans created conspiracy theories about network politics and behind-the-scenes drama. The complete silence from everyone involved only made the mystery deeper. What made this even stranger was that Twiggy herself said nothing publicly. Her social media accounts stayed active, but she posted no explanations or bitter comments about the show. For someone who had been so open about her welding journey, the sudden silence felt completely wrong. Fans were left guessing and creating wild theories about what really happened. Years passed with no answers. Vegas Rat Rods continued for more seasons, but many longtime fans said something was missing. The show's energy had changed, and while the builds remained impressive, viewers felt that the heart and soul had been lost when Twiggy vanished. YouTube tribute videos appeared, celebrating her best moments and keeping her memory alive in the automotive community. Here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. The truth about why Twiggy left had nothing to do with drama, firing, or conflicts. The real reason was much more personal, and showed incredible strength of character. After finishing season 2, Twiggy returned to Toronto with plans to continue her welding education. Despite her TV success, she felt there was still more to learn about her craft. But as time passed, Twiggy realized that stepping away from the show was about more than just improving her skills. The constant scrutiny and judgment had become exhausting. In interviews years later, she explained how draining it was to be evaluated more on her appearance than her abilities. "I was being judged for who I was as a person, not for what I could create with my hands," she said. "I needed to get back to building for myself, not for cameras or critics." This revelation changes everything about how we view her departure. Twiggy wasn't pushed out or defeated. She made a conscious choice to protect her identity and mental health. The television industry, while exciting, required her to be a performer first and a craftsperson second. She realized that continuing on TV would mean sacrificing the authenticity that had made her inspiring in the first place. After leaving Vegas Rat Rods, Twiggy rebuilt her life on her own terms. She became a tattoo artist in Toronto, applying the same precision and artistic vision that made her welding so special. The skills transferred perfectly. Worko's steady hands, attention to detail, and the ability to create something beautiful and permanent. She also continued welding through private projects and custom work, but without the pressure of TV deadlines and camera crews. What's remarkable is how Twiggy used her experience to help others. She became an advocate for mental health awareness, body positivity, and LGBTQ+ rights. She spoke honestly about being tokenized on television, dealing with online harassment, and finding peace by stepping back from public life. Her social media showed a quieter existence, filled with art, motorcycles, and authentic relationships. A complete contrast to the manufactured drama of reality TV. The impact of Twiggy's time on Vegas Rat Rods continues today. Across North America, young women still cite her as the reason they first picked up a welding torch. Trade schools report increased female enrollment in welding programs because of her influence. Automotive forums feature more women discussing fabrication techniques. She proved that women belong in fabrication shops and inspired countless others to pursue their dreams in male-dominated fields. Her legacy isn't measured in TV episodes or ratings. It's measured in every woman who walks into a metal shop without fear, every marginalized person who takes up space in traditional trades, and every artist who chooses to tell their story through metalwork. Twiggy changed the conversation about who belongs in fabrication, and that impact can't be edited out or erased by any network. Fans often ask if Twiggy will ever return to television. The demand is definitely there. Vegas Rat Rod's viewers still request her comeback, and new fans discovering her work want to see more. She remains one of the most searched names connected to the show, years after leaving. But Twiggy has made it clear that mainstream reality TV isn't appealing anymore. In rare interviews, she's explained why the television industry, while educational, ultimately took a toll on her well-being. Behind the cameras, she fought against editors who cut important moments and narratives that downplayed her technical skills. The pressure to be marketable first and authentic second became overwhelming for someone who had worked hard to discover her true identity. The world behind the scenes didn't always match what viewers saw, she once explained. This insight reveals the reality of television production. What we see on screen often differs dramatically from what actually happens. Twiggy wasn't willing to compromise her authenticity for ratings or network profits. If she ever creates content again, it will be completely on her terms, independent, honest, and unscripted. She's mentioned possibly developing YouTube content or workshop series that would let her share knowledge without the manufactured drama of reality TV. But for traditional automotive shows, Twiggy has already said everything she needed to say, and she said it through her exceptional metalwork and authentic presence. There's something powerful about knowing when to walk away, not in defeat, but in wisdom and strength. Twiggy didn't fade from view. She deliberately changed her relationship with fame and public attention. Instead of chasing another spotlight, she returned to the activities that had always fulfilled her, creating beautiful things with her hands, while staying true to herself. Today Twiggy lives quietly in Toronto, working as a tattoo artist, and continuing her passion for metalwork and motorcycles. She creates not to prove anything to anyone, but because she genuinely loves the process of transforming raw materials into something meaningful. Her tattoo work shows the same attention to detail and artistic vision that made her welding so impressive. The truth is, Twiggy doesn't need television to remain relevant or influential. Her impact was never about screen time or episodes. It was about inspiring people to see themselves in places they never thought they belonged. Every person who pursues welding because of her example, every woman who enters a trade because she showed it was possible, carries forward her legacy. Twiggy's story teaches us that real success isn't always about staying in the spotlight. Sometimes the strongest choice is stepping away from fame to preserve what matters most, your authentic self and your core values. She chose personal integrity over public recognition, and that decision has made her more inspiring than any television role ever could. Her message is simple but profound. I never wanted to be a TV star, I just wanted to build something beautiful. And she accomplished exactly that, on screen, off screen, and within herself. In a world that pressures people to chase fame at any cost, Twiggy chose a different path, proving that the most meaningful success happens when you stay true to who you are, regardless of who's watching.